Welcome
to the Success Systems
Podcast. Learn the tips and tactics to start and grow a super successful business. Hosted by Jonathan Munsell. Jonathan has spent the past 2 decades helping thousands of businesses and business owners. He advises entrepreneurs with proven systems that accelerate sales, build concrete, everlasting companies, and generate scalable revenue and wealth for their employees and especially the owners. Please join me in welcoming your host, Jonathan Munsell.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy and Johnny Show. I'm Jonathan Munsell.
Jimmy Borneman, how you guys doing?
I hope everybody out there is doing well. Jimmy, I'm just finally feel like a human being again over my third bout of COVID. You believe this?
Oh my God.
20, I haven't heard that word. It's like terrible. Yeah, and I swear it's every time I go to Florida. I go to Florida and next thing you know, I got COVID.
Yeah, those Florida folks, they're crazy.
Yeah, out of control down there, as always. Down there launching some new locations, taking some pictures of existing locations. So it was a good trip. And today I want to cover a couple of things that actually we did a Jimmy and Johnny where we talked about AI. And I wanted to circle back on that a little bit and dive into that a little bit more. And one, tell a little bit of my experience to date with it. I've had some, what I would consider to be a pretty incredible, just overall experience with AI in general. Again, I'm a fan, I'm a techie, we all know that. But as of late, I've been using AI, Jimmy. So I showed everybody where I can take a call, I can drop it in and transcribe it really quick, and then I can take it and put it over in an AI tool. AI tool can spit me out a summary. Well, Zoom has been playing catch up on this stuff as well, which is neat. So at the end of a Zoom, which everybody's gotten used to Zoom through the whole kind of COVID process. But now when I'm done with the Zoom and I go in and look at the recordings, it actually does a transcription and does some work on it already. So that could eliminate a step for some folks. I use a system called Descript that actually can clean up the audio and video simultaneously. But I mean, in the absence of that, just to be able to take the actual conversation right from Zoom and drop it in. So when I showed that, it was about, we have assistants and folks that work with this, and they're able to see my call schedule, see that I did a call, go and get the recording, transcribe it, and summarize it for me very quickly. So I want to talk a little bit about what that's done for our business. And we've been doing it now for a month and a half, maybe.
Yeah, about that. About month two.
Yeah, the feedback from the professionalism, this is what I want people to take from this, right? People think about how to use AI. A couple ways that I use it just in general are, at the end of the day, like today, it's late and I'm working on writing something and I'm just stuck, right? So I'll go here, pop in the question, give me some examples. And it just gets my brain, even if I don't use those exact examples, it gets my brain moving and it's okay. And I might take a sentence and turn it into a paragraph and it works really well. So I added it to my phone, Jimmy. So I now, as a goof, the other day, I was sitting with my son and we were talking about going to pick up some new puppies. So if you guys don't know, my dog, we put him down a couple months ago and I'm going to get a puppy. So I made a joke and I had sent the text off to the breeder and I had said, hey, I got COVID. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to pick him up this weekend, but once we test for negative, I'll be able to come and get him. So I wrote an email or a text that was perfectly fine. But as a goof, I was sitting there with my son and I did it just off the cuff. I put it in, you guys can download this ChatGPT app. And I literally just went in and I just hit the message and I said, I used my recorder and I said, write a message to my dog breeder telling them that I'm not going to be able to do the puppy pickup because I've come down with COVID, but we'll come and see them afterwards and make sure that everybody's safe. I did that. I hit the message. And sure enough, if it did not write the most eloquent email with all of that stuff and it wrote like a 4-paragraph thing and it was just like, and it took mine and made it look like garbage, to be honest.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, Spirit is, well, it actually is doing it as it's sitting here. It took a second to think about it, but it's literally typing me a message and I'll read it to you guys here in a second just to show you. But talk about a funny use
I did that same kind of thing, Jonathan. Bing, the search engine, had added ChatGPT to its format, if you will. And I started using it, and there's this little button, you click and you talk, and next thing you know, I got an amazing article. I had to tweak it, of course, but it was accidental, and it was so cool, but pretty powerful.
No, not bad. So I just rattled some stuff off the top of my head, right? And just recorded it. And here's what it came back with. Dear dog breeder's name, I hope this message finds you well. Unfortunately, I wanted to let you know that I won't be able to process with the scheduled puppy pickup as planned. I recently contracted COVID and need to prioritize my health and safety of others. However, once I'm fully recovered and it is safe for everyone, I would love to come and visit and meet the puppy. Thank you for your understanding. Best regards, and insert your name. But it just ties it together, and that takes 2 seconds. I had people in my office like lamenting over writing an email. I just whip that thing out and do it. So I'm telling people, if you're not using it, even just to lighten your own load and your own burden, you got to start considering it, because just to not have to think for a minute is actually pretty nice sometimes.
Absolutely. And I just used it as well for a proposal. Somebody wanted a web page built from our other company. And I just talked into the same thing and told ChatGPT I needed a proposal built based on these criteria. And boom, got it all done.
It's some people complain about prompts and different stuff. I'm telling them, the app doesn't even have any prompts like that. It just, you put in the raw stuff and it spits it out. You'll learn a little bit what to say and how to get a little bit more out of it. But I'm telling you. So one of the things, Jimmy, I did recently, I was using it and I wrote 2 articles, one based off of 10 innovative ways restaurants can use Chat GPT and generative AI. And I also did one for auto detailers. I'm well known in the auto detailing space. I'm well known in the restaurant space. So I wanted to walk through what it gave me. If you got a little bit of time, you want to share some ideas on this. So let's start with the restaurant one, because I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, so we wrote this article and it's got 10 little sub-paragraphs, but I liked what it came up with. So the first one that I saw was personalized menu recommendations. And that's really interesting, because what happens, you go to a restaurant, you ask the waiter, what they recommend. Sometimes the waiter's prepared and they're able to really give you an in-depth explanation. What about having the ability, right? Nowadays, people are so used to scanning the QR code on the table to get the menu. And now you have that. Why not have a little chat bot in there where they can say what they're interested in and it can go and pull from your menu? I think that's brilliant.
I think it is too.
Yeah, saving the staff and the waiter, and now you're not dealing with maybe their personal recommendations, because the thing that we can do with our chat tools now and built into our system with Success Systems, our new chat bot that's tied to AI, you can give it certain criteria to answer questions in. So you can really tailor it to your own menu and your own drink suggestions, your own certain dishes based off ingredients.
Imagine being able to pair a wine with a steak that you didn't know about, and it's all of a sudden the best combination ever.
Exactly. And you can make it off of your menu. So you think about it, if I go to ChatGPT and I'm telling them, hey, I'm at an Italian restaurant, what should I eat? It might give me something that's off menu. But if you give it the criteria and some of the background information, it can pull from your list. So that's one of those that I don't think people understand how to tie it together to get what they want out of it. And we got some great tools for that we're using, and we're happy to share them with folks.
Yep, agreed.
So another one that's always a challenge in restaurants, automated reservation and wait list management. I'm telling you, the thing that they're figuring out and what they're using this AI for, they're using it in cancer research. They're using it in all these places that it's just more efficient than people, and they can process better than people because it's not based off of a whim or an attitude or a feeling. It's based off of just the facts and the data that it has. So imagine you can free up your staff to just focus on really greeting people properly, seating them, and it can estimate wait times better than you could ever in a restaurant. That always was the secret to creating a really high value restaurant, was maximizing table turns. Used to be my most fun thing to do, Jimmy, was I would work with the front of house staff and work on just turning tables as best we can. Imagine they're able to take that 20 years of my experience and be able to apply it to maximizing your dining room capacity. I think that's really interesting.
It's intricate and powerful at the same time. When I was down at Savannah last week on my vacation, 2 weeks, whatever, we ran into that same kind of concept. I don't know if it was AI or not, but their technology on the wait list and their timing and everything, it was spot on. I wish I could remember the name of the restaurant, but their technology was, I would say, badass. It was nice.
Yeah, and that's one of those experiences that you remember, right? It's about wowing the customers, and you always got to deliver amazing product. We always talk about some fundamentals that are non-negotiable for us, right? You have to deliver amazing service, amazing product, commitment to delivering all those things, or Jimmy and I won't even talk to you as a business. If you're one of those guys that doesn't care about those things, you're not one of our clients. I guarantee that.
We kick you out pretty quick.
But to create that experience and even have it during that process of just the wait list or the reservation. Another one is just general customer support, right? So you think about nowadays, there's chatbots on websites. And the biggest problem with chatbots on websites is you would have to be manning it, right? Old school, you'd need to be manning that chatbot for it to get answered. Nowadays, for a restaurant, you can have that chatbot operating independently of you. And the way our system works, you can tie it into Facebook Messenger, you can tie it into Instagram, Yelp, all these different places that people are contacting you. Our system actually works with reviews as well as comments on any of those platforms, and AI picks up and starts the conversation. The worst is you go and you put something in the chat and it's, oh yeah, they'll respond. They never do, and you lose that. But imagine you can engage them based off of previous conversations, information that you provided, and now you have them, and then it gives you a little bit of time. Maybe you are the owner, maybe you do like to monitor the chat, but now it gives you a little bit of time to get there and catch up on the process, not have to start it 20 minutes after somebody started a chat. Now they're already at a different restaurant because you missed it. What other ones can you think of, Jimmy?
I was looking at the list, and there's one called the online ordering, streamlining that whole process. So being able to come to the web, put in my ideas of what I might want again, and being able to connect it into the system, into the back kitchen, getting my order that I might not have had, and getting my ticket increased because it helped me figure out what I wanted. That, and instead of my normal burger, I ended up with fish and chips and spent $4 more because I put in my prompt or my questions. So that was one of the things that I saw, that I could increase my ticket through online ordering.
Yeah, again, we go back to how you increase sales. You got to get more customers. You got to get your existing customers to come more, or you got to get them to spend more. Yep. One of the things they talk about all the time is if you guys don't have online ordering, you're missing out, because people spend so much more money. I do. I'm guilty by far that using online ordering, I spend more money because I have more time. It's the old adage of you pull up to the drive-through and you feel that pressure and you just kind of blurt out something. Well, you have to use the website. And if you can integrate some of this to actually make the right recommendations, the right add-ons, think about how you can increase your check average dramatically. And I remember back in the day, like Pizza Hut or Papa John's, one of them, they were talking about, they had a 50% increase once they went to online order. If people bought it, they didn't just buy the pizza, they bought the wings and the drink and all that because they could take their time to look at it.
And back in the day, we didn't really look at takeout as a line item income stream, if you will. This is when we get our restaurants. It was once in a while you get a takeout. Now after the COVID, it got trained for people to do takeout, and it's easier. And now it's a whole other line item for us to track and watch and increase versus tables. So our tables might be a little less filled tonight, but my takeout is 3 times more than it was last week. If that makes its rating, whatever, it's something to focus.
Yeah, I don't understand. Even some of my favorite restaurants aren't on some of the online ordering platforms. So I travel a lot. I use Uber Eats. I use DoorDash. I'm so surprised because they'll have ghost kitchens on there at Cooties, which is really Hooters, but they'll have 3 different spots, but a good local restaurant won't have anything on there. And I think they're afraid, I got to pay fees. It's like when I talk about in the detailing business and I talk about going mobile versus just having a fixed location. If you have a fixed location, you can only increase sales so much year over year. But when you go mobile, you can double, triple your sales. The equivalent of having online ordering and takeout and using some of these other programs, even though it's more expensive and yes, there's fees, you can literally double your sales where you can't do that in a physical brick and mortar on a natural occurrence. And I think people are missing that. Every restaurant
really are
looking for to do something listed on those sites.
they're scared of the fees. That really is what it comes down to.
And now it's the same people that are scared to raise their prices, Jimmy. By the time you do it and you realize that, yes, you took a 5% hit, but you got 10% across the menu versus your entire fan base and increased your sales 5,000 a week, just doesn't make any sense. There's no argument against it anymore.
No, they get so used to listening to their 5 regular customers that they forget about everybody else.
Yeah. So another great one too that I want everybody to consider, and we talk about our international society. Everywhere I go, there's different versions of foreign language. It used to be a couple different languages. Now there's all different languages here in the U.S. We are a melting pot. What about multilingual customer support? And it's so easy to integrate that into your website and integrate it into your chatbots by using some of this AI. And now instead of delivering it in the language that you want to deliver it, say, screw everybody else, if you can deliver it to them in their language, which is going to make them immediately more apt to do business with you because you're catering to them and their needs.
It makes them feel comfortable and trust you, know you like you trust you. You're going out of your way to help them, and it just helps.
Yeah. And then the other big one, when you take all of the things we talked about and we talked about menu, upselling, customer experience and all that, it's the data that you gain by using items like ChatGPT or AI that you don't get by just picking up the telephone yourself. You may think about it, you may have some sense of the information, but imagine now that you're able to look at ordering patterns, preferences, feedback, and you're able to aggregate that data because it's happening automatically. So that's another piece that people miss out on not using the technology is the amount of data and insight it gives you after the fact. You can go back now and say, wow, from that, we've now changed the dynamic of our menu and we can push certain items a certain way. And I'll tell you, that's the data-driven influence on your customers and your business is huge. And I think people miss that one pretty high as well.
I was going to say, I geek out on data and the power of it all and using it in my menu engineering concept. Imagine me exporting everything into an Excel for what I sold for the month and going out and seeing what my price increases are going to be, putting them both together and asking the AI to help me engineer something that is profitable and have it kick out the answers in half hour versus me thinking I know everything. It was the coolest experiment.
Yes. I totally agree with you. Now, I want to switch gears a little bit and I want to talk about service-based businesses. This could be auto detailing, things like that. So a couple other places that, in addition to what we talked about, that I think auto detailers, service businesses, mechanic, they might really use. One is appointment scheduling and reminders, right? Restaurants, yes, have reservations. When you have scheduling and you have a service, your service has a predictability around when they should get the service again. And if you're able to really maximize that cycle, I used to use the example with a hairdresser friend of mine. And if she would book people the day they were in the shop and book them for 4 weeks, she could maximize her revenue. If she waited and they said, oh, I'll call you back. And then she waited for them and it took them 6 or 8 weeks to come back. In a year, she'd lose 1 or 2 different haircuts. So imagine you set it up that the AI not only helps you get it scheduled, but it also does a reminder based off of how often they might book or stuff to the service they just got. So in the auto detailing business, you just got your car waxed. 3 months, you should be getting it waxed again. How awesome would it be if the AI could just check that out, give you a list and help you market that without having you actually have to go and click the buttons and find it, look for the dates and all those types of things. That could be Another one is a detailed service explanation. So
yeah, that's bad. That's good.
People want data and they want to understand what they're buying. In a restaurant, it's somewhat, self-explanatory when you tell them the ingredients, but people don't understand that when it comes to providing a service for that. And if you can get these really good detailed service explanations, you'll convert more. The other thing from that, you can build FAQs. So now you can have a list of questions that people have asked you time and time again, being aggregated. You can share that information. So when people are doing their own independent research and they're looking at 1 o'clock in the morning and they don't have somebody to talk to, even though they can chat with your bot or whatever, you can now have really robust FAQs based off of information and data you've received from previous experiences speaking with people.
Yeah. Why is Canuba wax better than the other?
Because it's a really hard nut. That is the answer. But yeah, you're 100% correct. What does that mean to people? And you can explain the history, things that you couldn't get across in a conversation because people aren't going to take the time to listen.
Yep, totally agree.
The other thing I think it could do for businesses is it can really identify upselling and cross-selling opportunities, right? So if you run them through a series of just some basic questions about their vehicle, maybe even if you have some of the OEM information backed into it, you can understand it's maybe you have window tinting and maybe you know that car doesn't come standard with window tinting. What a nice upsell when you're already doing something. Or the certain make model and you know that those people tend to put ceramic coatings on cars. It can prompt them without you having to do it. It can then say, okay, that car is in the high Teslas, for example, a high percentage of Tesla owners use ceramic coating. We have 3 case studies. I can start dripping them to them. The system can do all of that for you guys.
Yep. And some of the older cars that pop up might need their headlights cleaned, if you will. It's just, and if you see a minivan, you might as well know that if I need some interior shampoo for the kids, it just adds up to huge tickets. It just adds and adds and adds.
Yeah, if people think that I get rich, Jimmy, cleaning Lamborghinis. You know what I get rich on? I get rich cleaning minivans.
Baby seats, cleaning
car seats, minivans are more regular than a Lamborghini.
Yeah, they're always clean. You give me a pet lover, a dog car, and a baby seat. Win-win.
Yes. So I just wanted to share some really specific examples of how people could utilize it, more so than just us talking about it, but give some concrete stuff that helps everybody at least. But if you haven't tried it, definitely use it. If you want to see it in action, let us know. You can use our system all you want. We really are about helping people out and getting it out there. So feel free to do it.
Yeah, I would totally embrace it, guys. Don't be fearful. Just go forward. You got this.
Yeah. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about, Jimmy, we've had a lot of success in our business. If you guys don't know, we have the largest auto detailing company in the world that we own. And lately we've been really on fire. So I've used it personally, AI, to do my summary thing that I showed everybody. That's amounted to a way higher level of engagement than I've ever seen. So the little secret sauce for everybody, and I don't care what industry you're in. If you have a call with somebody, you should record it and do it via Zoom, do it via a system. Our system records all of our phone calls, our Zoom records all the videos. But when I'm able to give back that call summary, Junie, the professionalism that comes with that and takes a 30-minute call and gives it back to them in 20 bullet points and a very clear follow-up process. I'm telling you, I've rapidly ramped up even our own sales funnel and our own ability. It closed, $400,000 in deals in the last 60 days based off of that professionalism. I really encourage people to find ways to use it, but that's my favorite today is
fortune's in the follow-up, as they say. Fortune's in the follow-up. Didn't mean to cut you off, but
no.
Fortune's in the follow-up.
Yeah, so talk a little bit. Lately, you've been doing some things, not necessarily AI-based, but digitally with getting operations more systematized. And I think it's a really good lesson for people out there that are busy. The old cycle of I market my business, and then I get busy, so I have to stop, and then I consume the new business, and then I market again, and I'm on this kind of bad business life cycle and roller coaster.
I hate that cycle. Oh, I hate
that. So Julie's been taking, we have some very clear packaging and processes that we use. We have certain signage and different things that we deploy when we go to a new building, to a new customer, to a new fleet operation. And Julie's done a really nice job of taking those variables, and instead of just having it be it's whatever you want, he's taking kind of 3 of each, and we've made it where people can pick. So if you guys are using this, and he did it so eloquently with Google, we're using Google Sheets. No,
slides.
So here's the example, here's a brief explanation. And now that we meet with the client, we're able to show them visually what it would look like. They can pick and choose, and then we can have that stuff turned around in a week, show up, and really the day one, the launch to the first day that we're on site comes off 100 times better than the old way of mixing and matching and letting people tell us. When it's that concise, Ginny can put it in a package and say 1, 2, or 3, and I love it. So I want to sing your praises on that.
Thank you very much. And it helps our franchisees as well, because it takes away the overwhelm of what do I need when they're trying to add some signage. All they got to do is go to our shop.chronowash and click what they need, and we fulfill it, and we've got it systemized. And like you said, out in a week, if they need help with their sales side, they've got that Google Slides to show their own big building. So it's really turned out to be quite efficient and saved our people a lot of time.
Yeah, and it takes an inexperienced professional, right? We hire professionals, but a lot of times they're younger. When you're younger, you may not have the experience, but we're able to take experience of generations and years and be able to give them tools that they can now show up at this really high level. And I think it helps them and their own esteem. It absolutely helps with the professionalism, the image of the company with these kind of big companies that we work with. Look at ways how you can empower your team and make them look like superstars. I don't know if you guys did it on the script. I want the people on the ground to get the credit.
Yeah, it's not about me. I want to stay in my command center and let somebody else have all the credit. Jimmy works in the shadows.
Yes. Always nice. Anything else that you got hot on the list? Anything, out there that, you think we should hit on today?
Not really. The only thing that I wanted to add to the AI was some of the cool things that I found was this text to speech, which we've had in our phones forever. But now it gives me those 42 languages that I can make one thing, click a button, and it becomes Dutch or it becomes Spanish. So if I'm doing some international marketing and you've got a paragraph or a script or something you want to get out there, I can just speak it into my tablet, into the system, and it'll generate for our international folks. I mean, it's way better than Google translating it because sometimes it's wacky, but this having their voice. And the other one was then taking that voice, and there's this another AI that puts over a lip syncing person. So there's actually this fake person talking to them. But after a while, your brain gets over the fact that it's fake, and you're watching the person talk, and they get the information stronger than just reading it. So a couple tools like that where we can take our data, our information, use the tools and kick it out the door. So that was just a couple of the little touch points that I like to pay attention to.
Yeah, and I'm going to leak something that we're working on. We haven't unveiled it yet, but Jimmy and I have been diligently working on the SOP process. So if you guys are not familiar with standard operating procedures for your business, Jimmy and I have a couple hundred of them based off of different aspects of your business, be it marketing, certain types of marketing, Facebook ads, Google ads, things like that. For sharing that with our clients and the world here coming up. So something to really look forward to is getting a hold of some of our SOPs to make your lives easier.
And why don't we do that show next week about SOPs, and we can give out a couple after the show if anybody wants to.
I think that's a great idea. So awesome, my brother. We'll keep it short and sweet like we do. And I always appreciate you, and I love the content, and I hope everybody else really appreciates it. Make sure you subscribe, whatever platform you're on. Like, ding out, notifications, all those good things. And stay tuned. We got another big webinar coming up as well. Keep an eye out there. Before we get into the big holiday weekend, we want to get some material out to you guys.
Rock and roll, man.
Awesome, brother. I appreciate you as always, and always appreciate our fans.
All right, you too. Talk soon, everybody.